Marriage is like celiac disease. Let me explain. Okay, so it's not exactly like celiac disease, but I would compare my first year of marriage to the first year of having celiac disease. Let me take you back to 2014, and after a wild weekend in Paris with the boys, consuming so many croissants and so much baguette, it was inevitable after my lifestyle of chicken nuggets and chips whilst growing up that something was evidently wrong. And I went through all these different tests. It was pretty brutal, to be honest, but it was confirmed that I had celiac disease. And a year after finding out, I had to go back to the doctors for a year review, where the doctor asked me questions like, how am I getting on? Was there particular foods that I found hard to eat or hard to find, and all these different things. And it was at that moment where I responded to his question of how am I getting on with, yeah, I'm getting on okay, but occasionally I still eat gluten. I could see in his face there was a seriousness to it, and he was like, what do you mean you still eat gluten? To which, very innocently, my 2014 self said, well, you know, occasionally my family have Domino's pizza nights, and Domino's don't have a gluten-free crust yet, and so I just eat pizza as normal. Or when we went to McDonald's and I didn't take bread with me, I just got a cheeky double cheeseburger on occasion. From his response, I could tell that I was treating my next day consequences to eating gluten as just the next day, and not really realizing the long-term repercussions of what I was doing to my body. And not to be too cheesy, but I have essentially had a year review in the last few weeks of my first year of marriage with Jesus. I'm a Christian, and so that means that I spend time talking to Jesus. I have a relationship with him, and so I've gone to him and I've said, hey, how's my first year of marriage gone? And with that, he's spoken to me, not audibly, no sort of powerful signs from the sky or in the clouds or anything like that, but I've just felt a sense of him reminding me of what it was like during my first year with celiac disease. And I think something very similar that's happened this year, if you like, Jesus represents the doctor, I'm still the same person, and celiac disease is marriage. And what's happened is that there have been times this year where I've ran back to things that aren't good for me, and I've ran back to sinful habits, or I've turned to sin that happened before I got married, or I've held on to bitterness for too long, or I've got angry, and all these different things. And I think I've been treating those moments in the same way as I treated gluten during my first year of having celiac disease. Like, it's just a moment of a bit of sin, a bit of shame, but it's not a long-term disaster. And I think in a very kind way, in the same way that that doctor responded to me in 2015 when I had my year review, I think Jesus has responded to me in the same way by saying, have you thought about the long-term repercussions to what your actions are and how damaging this could be to your marriage? Not in like a finger pointing, you disaster, you've wasted your first year of marriage. There's been a lot of great things, and I've learned a heck of a lot about myself, but I just think there's something about it that he's saying, hey, there are still things that you're choosing from the past that are going to hurt you longer term. And I don't think I took those very seriously during the first year of marriage. Marriage is like my first year with celiac disease. How is it that I can turn away from the things that I think will bring me joy in the moment, but actually will not only do damage for the early aftermath, but actually have long-term consequences? And I want to be more aware of those going forward in 2026. So that was video 3 of 52 in 2026. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a like and subscribe if this is the first one you've seen, and I'll see you next week.